Okay, so what we're going to run through today is just like I said, a bit about RCS, introduce you to some of the people, and hopefully answer some of the questions that you may have regarding uniform, school day, subjects you'll study, extracurricular opportunities, so things you can get involved with outside of school hours, etc. So I'm Miss Keogh. I teach English at RCS, so I'm usually based in the English block, which is just to the left of reception. My other role in school is literacy and transition coordinator. So if you need any sort of extra support with your literacy skills, you're likely to be working with me there. Some other important people then. So we've got Mrs. O'Brien, who's the CEO of our trust. We've got Mr. Turton, who's our head teacher. And then we've got Mrs. Tomlinson, who's our transition lady. I'm sure many of you have already met Mrs. Tomlinson. And then your head of year for year 7 and your student SPM, what we call student progress manager, will be confirmed later in the year. We're not too sure just as of yet who that'll be, but you will get to know in time. So a bit about uniform then. It's black and white. So it's a plain white shirt, a clip-on tie, black trousers or skirt with the school logo and plain black leather shoes. There's a picture there, I don't know if you can see my mouse, of Kimiko. You might be able to notice she's got a golden tie on because she's won our top girl. So there are opportunities for awards and things like that with regards to like attendance and CFPs, which is our positive awards scheme. So these are some slightly blurry, I apologise if you can't see those clearly, images of our uniform, which you can get from Pinders. Now, every bit of the uniform you'll notice has our logo on. So when you arrive at RCS through the school gates, there'll be some uniform checks. So as you can see, we've got the logo on the trousers and on the jumper and tie, just to make sure you are wearing the correct uniform. This is some images of our PE kit. So again, as you can see, it's personalised to RCS within the colour scheme. Something quite cool to know is you can get your hoodie actually personalised, you know, with like your name on the back. A lot of students opt for that. So that's quite an interesting thing to know. So what does a school day look like at RCS? So obviously at the moment it's working a bit differently, but hopefully we'll be back to normal by the time you guys join us. So the day starts at 9:15 and you'll have a form period. We've got 4 lessons a day at 1 hour and 20 minutes. And we've got 2 30-minute break times in the day, and the day finishes at 3:10. So what sort of subjects do you study? So it'll be a challenging and broad sort of range of subjects that you'll be studying right from the start of year 7. So you'll have 3 lessons of English and drama, 3 lessons of maths a week, and then 2 of science. You'll all study a language from the start as well. You'll have history, geography, PE, technology, IT, music, art, and social studies, which is where you learn about sort of topical issues. Some of you might need some extra support with your writing or your math skills. So if that's the case, as I've already mentioned about literacy, you'll have an extra lesson, perhaps in literacy or numeracy, if you require that support. Extracurricular opportunities then, guys. So we've got the school production, which is fantastic. Last year I went to view the Beauty and the Beast production, which was amazing. So if you're into a bit of singing, a bit of drama, definitely get yourself involved in that. We've got movement evening and R Factor. Again, if you're into a bit of singing and sort of production side of things, there's lots of opportunities there. We've also got science clubs, chess clubs. You can learn to play an instrument. And then we've got a variety of sport clubs like football, netball, climbing, cross-country athletics. So my advice to you really would be have a go at whatever you fancy and just see what sort of thing takes your fancy, really. Why not? Upcoming events then. So obviously these are all subject to change, but we have got a second transition evening in March time, where hopefully you'll get a bit of a taster session of some of the core subjects. Then in June, we've got another transition evening where you can meet your form tutor. So you've got 15 minutes every day of form. So you'll get to know your form tutor really well. So that's that'll be a good event as well. And then from the 21st of June is when, fingers crossed, hopefully, we get to do rollover this year and you'll come up to RCS for a month. And that's when your journey with us begins, really. So just on a quick one before we go to any questions, please have a check out of our website if you want to learn any more. There's loads of information for both you and your parents to kind of learn more about RCS on our website, Facebook page. We've also got our own little YouTube channel. I know you lot like YouTube, so get checking out RCS Tube for some videos. Okay, so I'll go over to you. I'll just stop sharing my screen and then hopefully we'll see if you've got any questions. There we go. So have you got any questions left to answer? Yep. Might just need to turn the audio on if that's okay.
Sorry, I was just doing something. Thank you very much. That was really informative. Have we got any questions though? Anything that wasn't answered? Caden?
Are you allowed to phones?
So with mobile phones, guys, so obviously in lesson there are times where I'm not sure if it'll be the same for you now, but you might want to use your phones for research. So your teacher will inform you if you're allowed to use your phone in the classroom. And at break times, if you're in a classroom, for the most part, you are allowed to use your phone. But what you're not allowed to do is have headphones out. You're not allowed to just get your phone out in a lesson without permission. You're not allowed to walk, on the corridors with your phone, scrolling through social media, that sort of thing. So what I would say the best advice is just ask and double check with a member of staff before you get your phone out. And if you're not given permission, then it's usually not a great idea to get it out.
Lovely, thank you. Any more questions? Keris?
What do be for lunch?
Oh, that's a good question. So we've got the hatch, we've got the cafeteria. So we've got loads of hot and cold food options available. So we have things like jacket potato, paninis. I think we have like curry, we have fish, we've got pizza slices, and then obviously like pasta pots. And I think actually one of my favourite snacks, I know it's not that healthy, is it, was the cookies that we have, which are like homemade and they're really, really nice. So loads of different food options available for you, because obviously it's a big site compared to St Joseph's, and it might be a bit of a shock to you, so you probably will get quite hungry, walking around the school to all your lessons. So definitely lots of good food options available for you.
Smashing. Alfie?
Do you have to bring lunch money?
So with regards to lunch money, we normally do it kind of online via Parent Pay. I'm not sure if you have a similar system with where you are. Yeah, do you have it where? Well, we do it where you put your thumbprint on a system, and then you've got a PIN code that you give to the dinner lady. But that'll all be explained to you for rollover. So yeah, don't worry about that with regards to lunch money. We'll always make sure that you're fed and watered.
It's always good. Charlotte?
Is it nerve-wracking starting secondary?
Oh, that's a good question, and probably a really popular feeling. I'm sure Miss will say as well. I remember starting secondary school, and it is a little bit daunting because it's a big change. But what I would say is you're in the same boat as all your peers and all your friends. And I just try to feel excited about it, really, because, it's the next step in your journey of education. We do make sure that you've got some of your friends, in your form group. So you're not going to be completely on your own. But the year group as well is going to be big. So there's lots of opportunities to, you'll all make new friends, as well as, I'm sure, keep the circle of friends that you've got as well. So try not to be too worried and get excited.
Yeah, I agree. It can be nerve-wracking, but it's a new start, isn't it? It's going to be amazing. Yeah. Ollie?
Do you get a map when you don't know where you're going?
That's a good one. I've not been asked that before. there are maps, to be fair, that we could give you if you wanted. We don't usually hand maps out. You'll be given lots of information rollover with regards to the layout of school, and there's always people about to ask if you're not sure, because even for staff, you know, when you kind of not sure of a building and you're trying to find rooms, I can understand it's a bit scary, but there's always the older students in year 8 above that are willing to help, and obviously teachers, and everyone's willing to help you. If you feel like you're getting lost, don't worry, basically you'll find your way.
You'll get there eventually, won't you? Eloise.
Are we allowed to bring packed lunches?
Yep, absolutely, that's a good idea as well. If you're a fussy eater, or you know you've got something healthy to bring from home, you can absolutely bring packed lunches. There's no problem with that. And like I said, you can either eat those in the cafeteria or outside, or if we carry on as we are, there might be like classrooms available for you to have your snacks in there as well.
Lovely. Charlie.
Do you take showers after like?
Yeah, that's an interesting question. Can you take a shower? So if I suppose if you really needed to, there are the facilities to be able to do that, yes. Obviously, normally, like when the weather's really bad, you'll use the indoor kind of sports hall and do PE inside, perhaps, you know, if it's like raining and stuff. Because obviously, we don't want you to be really, really cold by the time you get to your next lesson. Because a big difference for you guys will be you're going to visit your teachers in their classrooms all across the school. So yeah, we want to make sure you're comfortable, and so if you would need a shower, I'm sure you'd be able to.
I think that question's come from a lot of older brothers and sisters who've said that in the past in secondary schools they used to take showers. So
Right, yeah.
From there. Ashley.
How many teachers are there at the
Oh, so I don't know the exact number, but I think there's between about 65 and 75 teachers. And then we've obviously got teaching assistants as well. We've got pastoral support. So it's a big site with, you know, a lot of students and a lot of teachers, and you'll get to know them all really, really well quite quickly, I'd imagine, the ones that you have.
Caden.
Do you have breaks, like when the breaks you just walk into your classrooms? Do you like play outside now?
So say that again, when you've got a break.
Do you play outside or?
Yeah, so we've got the basketball courts that you're allowed to use. We've got tennis courts as well. So yeah, you're encouraged to get some fresh air really, because it can be quite a long time, can't it? You know, sat inside. So it's good to move your legs. In the English block where I'm based, we've got it's like a little quad. I think one of the quads actually has a bit of a pond in and benches and things. So yeah, definitely.
Oh, that sounds nice. Kerry.
What happens if you're late?
Good question. So if there's a genuine reason, like say, you know, if you've got an appointment or something, obviously if you let us know in advance, then a note's put on the register and it's fine. If you're late for again, like if you live a bit further out and you're having to get a bus that's made you late, again, if you just let us know, you have to sign in reception. But if you're late because of another reason, then you will get a late mark from your first teacher or your form tutor, and you'll just have to obviously apologise to them as you enter the room and just explain your reason. So yeah.
Charlotte.
Is there lockers?
There are lockers to keep your stuff in. Yeah, that we've been changing quite a lot actually. You know, we had some lockers again in some of in the English and the MFL areas, but I think they've been removed, so I think they're being replaced. So that's a good question. Hopefully there'll be some new ones, I think, by the time you guys start, but I can double check that for you.
Lovely. Jess.
Are you allowed to wear new socks, or is it just tights?
Did you hear that one? It was.
No.
Are you allowed to wear knee-length socks, or is it just tights?
Oh, that is a good question. I believe it's meant to be tight. But again, that'll be explained to you when you start. I don't really know many students that wear knee-length socks. They all just tend to wear tights with us.
Yeah. You've got the trousers as well, haven't you?
Yeah, the trousers as well. Yeah, they're popular.
Okay. Alfie.
When break is done, do people go inside at different times?
So that's a good question. So we have what's called a warning bell. So there's a warning bell 5 minutes before the end of break to say you need to get to lesson. And then there's a start of lesson bell, which is if you arrive after that, you are considered late. So say if you were nipping to the toilet and you heard the warning bell, you'd have to get a bit of a wiggle on to make sure you get to lesson on time. And then, yeah, everyone goes into their separate lessons at the same time, usually in normal circumstances.
And Ashley.
Will we see any of our friends in classes, or would they be in different classes?
Yeah, so like I said, with the form groups, we try to make sure. I think you nominate, and we talk to your teachers now about sort of friends in your circle, if you like. So we like to make sure that you know someone in your form. But when it comes to classes, you are setted. So there aren't any guarantees that you'll be with your friends in your classes, but that isn't anything to worry about because obviously you're there to learn and you'll get to know people really quickly. And like I said before, everyone's in the same boat.
Lovely. Charlotte.
So will we only see our friends at break if we're in different classes?
Yeah, absolutely. I know a lot of my students will say to each other, oh, I'll meet you, I don't know, by the cafeteria or by the basketball courts at break. So you'll have little places that you'll arrange to meet your friends, so you won't be on your own by any means. It just might be that you'll be in different classes, but you'll be able to meet each other on the corridors, etc. So you've got each other at break.
Remember year 6 though, there's going to be all the new schools and all those other year 6s that are year 7s. You'll make so many new friends. So you might not stay with this group of friends. You might not need them anymore. You'll have so many new friends to hang around with.
Yeah, exactly.
Alexia.
Do you stay with the same group of people when you go to classes, or do you just?
Yeah, so that's a good question. So usually not really. So like I said, we use settings. So when you're assessed, you're put into different groups according to those with what we feel are a similar ability. So you might find that you've got a similar group in, I don't know, French and English, but maybe a different group of you in maths. Obviously, each of you are better at certain subjects compared to others, so it's kind of down to personal circumstances, really.
Do you set straight away? Sorry, is that?
We haven't been able to this year, obviously, because of what's happened. But normally, over we do kind of our own assessments and obviously take into consideration SATs, and then from September they're setted.
Yeah, because that's another thing to remember. So whoever's in your form group year 6, it doesn't mean that you're necessarily going to stay with them for all your lessons anyway. So when you get the form, you need to think about this is just for that sort of registration and a few lessons, whereas the other lessons, you go into those kind of ability sets. Okay? Caris.
What happens if you leave your time then you come in without it?
Oh, yeah, that's a good question. So we have got some students sometimes that'll forget their tie because it is like a clip-on one. So usually you'll go to your head of year in the morning, hopefully if you're on time, and just let them know what's happened. Now, we do give out kind of borrowed parts of uniform, but after a certain number of times, obviously it gets to a point where we might have to discuss with home and just make sure that we're on track with remembering our uniform correctly. But there is scope for you to borrow if you do have the odd slip up.
That's good to know. Caitlin.
Do you know when you walk in, what the first thing you would do? Would you go would all teachers introduce you in a hall or something?
Do you mean so at rollover, like the first thing that happens? Yeah, so normally we like to have like a big assembly and welcome you all, obviously show you around the building, etc. Hopefully, fingers crossed, we will be able to do that, and then you'll start to go into your form groups, get to know your teachers throughout the day and your different subjects and stuff. And then by the time it's the summer holidays, what's quite nice about rollover is you feel a bit more confident then because you already kind of know a bit about what it's like. Does that make sense? Yeah?
Yeah. Serene. Oh, I thought you had hand up, sorry. Caden.
Do you know in PE, was it joggers that you can buy?
Was it what, sorry?
Joggers.
Jogging bottoms.
No.
Jogging bottoms. They're like kind of jersey shorts, and there are a longer length option. Yeah, in short.
Alfie.
What happens if you forget your homework? Before detention.
Oh, what happens every time you get your homework?
Well, at the moment we haven't got proper homework because we don't want things coming back and forwards. But what did I do last year, Alexia?
So if you forgot your homework, then at break or dinner, you have to stay in and do it.
Oh, right, yeah.
A little
That's interesting to know. Yeah, so if you were to forget your homework just because you've not bothered to do it, obviously for English we set a lot of our homework online. So we use a website where you all have a login, and we do it kind of actually marks it for us, which I'm sure Miss will know. That's quite a nice thing. Yeah, it's like a multiple choice sort of quiz basically that we set quite regularly. So it's kind of hard to forget that because it's not relying on you bringing something into school. But for things like creative writing and stuff, where I might in English, for example, ask you to bring something in. Obviously, you'd normally get a bit of an extension, and if you still didn't bring it in, then you'd either lose your breaks to do it in your own time or be kept after school in detention to do it. So yeah, kind of think.
Yeah. So get practicing now. Get that homework done.
Yeah.
All on at the moment, but no excuse. Serene.
How many floors does your house have?
How many floors?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's an interesting one. So we've got, as you walk into reception, to the left, it's sort of all one floor for English classrooms. And then to the right, you've got MFL and geography. And then we've got science, which is downstairs. So that's kind of like 2 floors. And then the other buildings have 2 floors as well. So it's not like there's a giant building with 6 different floors on it. It's kind of lots of little buildings with two floors, if that makes sense.
Yeah, like the blocks. You'll figure out the blocks and things when you get later on. Charlie,
are you allowed your phone in detention?
No. Unless you were quite with a teacher and they specifically told you to use your phone for a purpose. No, obviously the purpose of detention is it's not supposed to be time for you to be checking your YouTube, etc. So no.
Ollie.
Is it like surprise when you just go like around corners, or is it just straight
around corridors?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to explain now, but you'll get to grips with it very quickly. It's kind of windy corridors and up and down stairs. That's the best way I can put it.
Yeah. We'll figure it out. You'll be the first week, and then you'll soon realise where you need to go. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Jess.
will you get lost?
Oh.
I've got this question.
No, will you get lost?
No, there's loads of people to ask. If you're not sure where you're going, best thing, just ask any student member of staff. They'll point you in the right direction.
Yeah, definitely. Alfie.
How long's detention?
That's a good one. Yep. So detention varies really according to the reason you're in there. So we have CFPs, which is where you get positive praise points, and then we've got something called CFCs, which is a cause for concern. And if you start to collate and build up a lot of CFCs, or if you're sent out of a classroom for being disruptive, then that's the longest you stay. And I believe that's, is it an hour and a half? An hour at least. Smaller detentions for things like forgetting homework might be half an hour. So it does vary on time, but obviously not something you want to get into the habit of doing at all.
I was going to say, you don't need to worry about it because you're not going to get detention, are you, Alfie?
No, definitely not.
No.
No.
Caden,
Are you allowed black Air Forces? Sorry.
are you allowed?
Black Air Forces.
What is that, a trainer?
Yeah.
Black Air Forces.
The preference for school shoes are plain black leather shoes, but I do know some students do wear all black form of a trainer, as long as it's not got, like, you know, obvious white Nike ticks on and things that look sporty. We just want you to look smart.
Yeah. As long as it's the plain black, yeah. Charlotte.
What if you get a detention and your mum texts you and shouts at you for not coming home, and then you can't tell her?
Oh, yeah, that's a good one. So what happens is, if you are put in for a detention, our system will automatically message your parent, your point of contact, so they'll know. And then if there's any problems for any reason why you might not be able to attend, obviously your parent will get in touch with us, and if it's appropriate, we'll rearrange it. But your parent will always know if you're put in detention, and they'll always get a text to notify them.
Well, so you can't even hide it from your parents either. They'll find out. Saree?
What if you get detention from a teacher, or like, say if you've got to go somewhere and you have.
Oh. I don't know why we're so worried about detentions. We're not a bad class.
No,
So if you get detention, but you've got to go somewhere.
Yeah, like.
Yeah, I think Kia's already answered that one, but.
Yeah, same again. Obviously, you know, teachers will tend to ring home if you are put in detention. So for any of my classes, for example, if I very rarely have to send a student out or put them in detention, I'll be ringing home, and then if anything was to crop up, like you've got an appointment or whatever, I'm sure that would come up in that point of call with home. So don't worry about that too much. I'm sure none of you will be getting detentions.
Definitely not. I don't know why I was so upset about it. Keris.
How long are the lessons?
The lessons are an hour and 20 minutes. So some schools think that's quite long, actually. We've only got 4 lessons. I know some secondary schools have got a lot shorter lessons. What time are your lessons? You know,
range from about 45 minutes to an hour.
Yeah, so it's basically an extra 20 minutes of your longest lesson. But you do get your 2 half-an-hour breaks, and you can have food, obviously, in both of those breaks. So it's quite nice, really, because there's a longer time to really, you know, get into the subject and stuff.
Absolutely, yeah, get stuck in. Charlotte?
Can we eat food in class? Because when you starve and you really need to.
So you mean if you're in a lesson and you think, oh, I'm hungry, I'll just have a nibble of my Doritos? Unfortunately not. No, you can't just pick out some food in lesson. Same goes for us. Your teachers can't just get their sandwich or their soup out and start having that when they're teaching. So no, that food is only at break times.
Yeah, same here, isn't it? Same here. Finlay,
How many breaks do you get?
2 half-an-hour breaks.
lovely. Alfie,
How long do you stay at school for?
School days from 8:45 in the morning until 3:10.
Caden,
Are you allowed to ride your bike to school?
Yep, we do have bike facilities in the car park, so yep, that's absolutely fine. Some students do that, in my 2 lads in year 10 to do that, and it's a way to get your exercise in, so why not?
yeah, definitely. Caitlin,
Do you have like buses? So for school, and you have to have your own like little pass to go on, bus pass to go on the bus to come here, or is it just an ordinary bus?
Do you have to get a bus pass, was that?
Yeah.
no, I think there was more about, is there a school bus if you live far away? Is there a school bus service, or do you just get a normal bus?
Yeah, not that I know. I only know of students either walk to school, get a lift, or some of mine that live further away. I know they get like public bus services at the bottom of our road. Actually, most of the buses drop you off, and then you just walk up Rawmarsh, the edge of Rawmarsh Hill towards where we are. But if we're a bit unsure, obviously, just get in touch with us and we could discuss your options.
Yeah, lovely. Charlotte, I think your last one.
What if you need I forgot it.
Oh, I forgot it.
It was in that wait, let me think.
Oh, give you a minute. There is some questions though, questions that I wouldn't have thought of.
Yeah, I'm impressed. Well done, guys. Lots of really good questions there. If you do have any more, you can always, send us an email or.
Yeah.
Oh, we've got 2 more hands up.
Kerry.
What would happen if you skipped a class?
You wouldn't think of skipping a class, would you? This is just a hypothetical, maybe someone might, right?
If you were to skip a class on purpose, that would be deemed very serious, and you would be obviously would be contact home. You would be put into detention, and would want an explanation as to why you thought it was acceptable. We don't tend to really get many students that do that because it's just not worth it. You know, when all your mates are going home at 3:10 and you're having to stay behind for an hour, it's not fun. So you do it anyway because you'll be enjoying all of your lessons loads, so you won't want to miss out.
Absolutely. Goodness me. Right, we'll take these last ones, shall we? Jay,
What would happen if you skipped your detention?
Oh yeah, so if you just if you didn't, well, teachers actually escort you to the detention room. If you were to refuse to a teacher, that is defiance, which is very serious. So there'd be further consequences.
I don't know why are you making out that you're such an awful class guy?
Lots of negative questions.
We're definitely not going to be getting any detention, Charlotte. Charlotte, have you remembered yours?
No, but I've got it.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
What's like your bullying facility like? Do you know, like if people are being like bullying you and like actually physically bullying?
Bullying policy.
Policy.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's a good question. So obviously, like I said, you're going to see your form tutor every morning, so they'll be checking in with you. So you could talk to the form tutor. Any of your teachers, obviously, you need to speak up and talk about what's happening. We've actually, for more serious things, if you're feeling unhappy, we've actually got our own counselling team which are in school, and they're really supportive in terms of any other problems you might be having. So we've got a no tolerance policy, as I'm sure you have there with bullying, and it's very quickly resolved. Your head of year and SPM as well will be checking in with you regularly. You'll see them a lot. They'll do all your assemblies. They'll be nipping into loads of your lessons. So doing support as well.
Absolutely. And you'll have loads of new friends anyway, so hopefully you'll choose the right group of friends that treat you right. Kate,
If someone swore, how much detention would they get? Like how long?
If someone swore,
yeah.
it depends, I suppose, in what way. Like if you were swearing at another student, that would be serious. If you were to swear at a teacher, again, that would be serious. So it would just depend on what the circumstances were. But obviously, I don't think any of you guys will be getting involved in that sort of behaviour, will you?
Don't worry about any more tips. No more questions about detentions. I think we've covered that. We know what's wrong, don't we? Yes, we do. Caitlin.
How many entrances does that go into the actual building?
Oh, yeah, that's a good question. So at the minute, we're allowing students in the bottom gates and the top gates through the car park. It might be different again from by the time you guys come up. So that will be explained to you. Normally, students come in through like the front side entrances of 2 different blocks. But yeah, to be honest, I think it will change again by the time you guys come up. So you'll know that information when you're here.
Lovely. Oh, we've got just a few more then. Charlie.
How many classes are there?
Oh.
So when you start, you will have 13 different subjects, which is quite a lot, and then that will increase as you work your way up to year 9 and 10 for obviously your preparation for your GCSEs. You do get some choices in what you study, but you will all be studying a language, so that might be something to think about. I'm sure you do languages in primary, don't you?
We do. Our language is Spanish, but we haven't.
Yeah.
Yeah, we do. Ollie,
How old will we be when we get in the last class?
15 or 16.
Yeah, 15 and 16.
Charlotte.
What different types of PE sports are there?
Oh, we've had that one. What different types of sports do you do?
So yeah, in terms of like the clubs, as I said, we've got football, athletics, climbing, netball, rounders. But if there's a sport you fancy and we don't offer it, you can always suggest it, and we'll always see what we can do. We've got something called Student Council, so it's where you give us some feedback and have a meeting about things you'd like to see school doing maybe differently, and we always see what we can do to make those things possible. So yeah,
You could make a change. That'd be
definitely.
I'm always impressed that there's a climbing wall there as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's new.
Caden.
I don't know if this was that post, but someone said like they have certificates for like different sports like motocross riding and like different.
I think at the end of the rollover, they do a sort of recognition of talents and things. Is that right?
Yeah. So we have a big evening where like parents and guardians are invited to celebrate what you've achieved, and there's always loads of opportunities to celebrate your achievements. Obviously, that's our number one priority, guys, is you and making sure you're doing the best you can in school. So there's loads of different opportunities, and you're always really awarded for everything you achieve.
Amazing. I think we're questioned out.
Great. Well, thank you so much for all the questions. I hope that was useful for you.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
So, yeah, thank you for your time and enjoy the rest of your day and weekend, guys.
That's lovely. Thank you very much.